Today's movie is Lost Soul, the doomed journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau from 2014. Theme song.
Cartoons Reviews! Cartoons Reviews!
Alright, as always, if you want to watch the movie, I'll put links in the description below. And I'll also put links to the Island of Dr. Moreau from that we're talking about so you can watch it too. So, this is the first for this channel. This is the first time I've reviewed a documentary. So, if you were in the movies in the 90s, especially genre films, you remember hearing all about all the drama behind the scenes of the 1996 version of Island of Dr. Moreau. And the movie itself, the end product, so not only was the creation of it, but the end product was bonkers. With Val Kilmer, I think Val Kilmer ended up, his performance is a lot like what Johnny Depp would go on to do with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Only that worked, this doesn't. And Marlon Brando just being crazy pants. And it's been parodied a lot by South Park, but also the Austin Powers movies with Mini-Me.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us.
So this documentary goes in broadly in what happened to make this film. So as a film, if you're interested in the process, it's definitely worth watching because there's so much craziness that went on with this movie. So not only was there craziness leading up to the original director, Richard Stanley, getting fired, but also once they started filming it with the new director. I would like to see more though, but there's just so much in here. Actors dropping out before filming even started. Director getting fired, Marlon Brando's daughter committing suicide, and just general craziness on the set. But like I said, I would have liked to have heard more about this movie. So, Island of Dr. Moreau, if you're not familiar with it, it's the story, H.G. Wells, a guy goes out on the island and he makes human-animal hybrids. And so this guy, Richard Stanley, he'd made a couple of movies before this. Hardware was one that got a lot of buzz. I've never actually seen Hardware. All I really remember is that it got a lot of buzz, and then it ended up getting in a lawsuit for plagiarizing a story from, I believe, 2000 AD. The comic book, I'm not sure. But, so him coming into it, he had a lot of buzz. And honestly, he kind of got shafted. So the movie goes into saying how one thing led to another, and they got Marlon Brando involved, and because of that, lots of other actors wanted to get involved. But that meant that the budget for the movie kept going higher and higher. I would have liked to have heard from a few more people though, because they don't exactly specify what did he do to get fired after 3 or 4 days of filming. Yeah, the dude's crazy. He talks about, when I met with Brando, I paid this warlock to perform a spell so that Brando would like me.
Knowing that the odds were stacked against me, I resorted to witchcraft. At that point in time, I was friendly with this warlock chappie in England, Dr. Edward James Featherstone, commonly known as Skip. So Skip had been shown to demonstrate his ability to fix things, to do invisible mending before. So I said, my God, Skip, you've got to help me.
Okay, sure, dude. And they said he was very uncommunicative, but also he's like, I didn't have a car. I don't know how to drive. I'm from London. So he's kind of got a point there that maybe they were expecting him to show up, but he had no way to get there because he didn't have a car. So sure, sounds like he was just not prepared for this multi-million dollar production. But like they talk to the executives and they're like, yeah, we met together doing some preliminary shooting, and I just had a bad feeling. But what was the bad feeling? What about him made you have a bad feeling? And so they don't really go into that. And like I said, he kind of got screwed because they had actors dropping out and actors wanting to, like, I'll be in it, but I don't want to be on the set for this long, and other things like that. And the movie could have done with talking to more people. Now, sure, Brando's dead. Val Kilmer gets a lot of the blame for his ego trip. He's probably not going to talk too much about it. I did some research, and apparently he's like, no, I was cool, but who knows? And they do, but it seems like everybody that they talk to, besides the suits, actually like the director, the original director, Stanley. So it is kind of unclear. And they could have talked to more people because, like, 3/4 of the way through, they're showing some, video camera, VHS camcorder footage. And hey, there's Ron Perlman. Like, you could have talked to Ron Perlman, I'm sure. I actually tried to look up, and he does talk a little bit about the movie in a memoir he wrote, but I couldn't get a full copy of it, and I don't care enough to pay for it. But I would have liked to have heard what Ron Perlman had to say. Basically, he just said, I found one interview with him, he was like, yeah, Brando was in it, so I wanted to be in it. And so there we go. Hold up, wait a minute, I'm going to interrupt myself. As I was getting ready to edit this movie, I did a little bit more research. Hold up, wait a minute. I'm going to interrupt myself. With Ron Perlman, as I was getting ready to edit this movie, I did a little bit more research and found an interview with Ron Perlman where he was on Mark Maron's podcast. I'll give a link to it in the description. And he talks about the movie a little bit. He said that he was asked to be in the documentary, but he didn't want to be because he didn't know the full story himself. So I take it back about that criticism of the movie. Interesting, in that interview, Perlman says he wasn't even there yet when they fired the first director. He was getting ready to fly out to Australia where they filmed it. Then he got a phone call. Hold up, we're not going to film it. Interview, the part, I'll link to the part where he talks about that. It's interesting to hear him talking about interacting with Marlon Brando. But Stanley. Also, Ron Perlman also says he likes the first director, Stanley. So he kind of gives the impression, he says they fired him because after 4 days, he was 4 days behind. So again, the mystery deepens. Why was the studio out to get him? It is. I don't know. Like I say, it's fascinating. All right, back to our regularly scheduled it's kind of program. Light on specifics. So the thing is, though, Stanley gets fired like halfway through the documentary. So the replacement director came in, he only had a week, and nobody has anything good to say about him, except for like one of his assistants. And it's basically like, from what I gather, the director's like, he had been a big shot, but he kind of fallen from grace. And he's like, I'll do this, but you got to give me a 3-picture deal. And that's really the only reason he did it. And then it goes in talking about Marlon Brando on set. This is, how Marlon Brando was just basically totally uncooperative and he was throwing out crazy ideas. So that's where the mini-me idea came from Brando, apparently. They had found this person, the world's smallest person, and they wanted him just to be a character, a mole person or whatever. And Brando's like, this guy's awesome. I want him in every scene with me. So there's lots of shenanigans. And then Val Kilmer was also pulling shenanigans. Then the main actor leaves sort of a few days into it. So it's amazing. But I would have liked to have seen more. So I'm going to give this 4 thumbs up. It answers questions. I still have a lot more, though. I want a sequel. So I'm rearranging things, and I got some glare here. I think I'm going to need to fix that. Please like and subscribe if you want me to fix the glare. All right. Deuces.